So, what is the best cardio for fat loss? I get this question all the time. I used to have this question all the time. I want to go through this video with you. I want to go through the best form of cardio to burn the most fat, to get the most fit, and to feel your best and remove all of the confusion. First, let me introduce myself. I'm a doctor, I'm a wife, I'm a mom of 2 little kids, I have a full-time job. I get it, life is busy, so we need something to make things simple. And I'm gonna walk you through all that. I'm gonna break it down for you, and you are going to feel like your body is going to be renewed and your mind is gonna be renewed by the end of this, and you are gonna be so pumped and ready to go. I'm excited. We're gonna go through some basics real quick. Stick around to the end so I can reveal to you the secret of fat loss with cardio. First, there's 2 basic forms of cardio. There's aerobic training and anaerobic training.
What does that mean? What is aerobic and anaerobic? I don't understand.
Aerobic means that your body is using mainly oxygen, and anaerobic means your body is no longer using oxygen as much and is using carbohydrates or glucose, which is usually stored in our muscle. And there's a graph that shows you this very clearly. So during your aerobic training, which is your lower level intensity training, again, your body is using oxygen and fat as a fuel. As things get a little bit more difficult and we become more breathy, then we start to burn mainly glucose. Again, that is going to be stored in our muscles and in our liver. So more intense training does burn more carbohydrates than fat. This is true. I think high intensity interval training, if you're working really hard in the gym lifting weights, oftentimes it turns into an anaerobic exercise, especially if you're doing legs, because we know things get a little intense when we're doing legs. And any exercise that just makes you really breathy is going to, again, burn more carbohydrates or burn more glucose for fuel than fat. And not only does it burn more carbohydrates, it also burns more calories. So you will burn more calories the harder you work. This is true. You will burn way more calories doing high intensity interval training and sprinting than you will do walking.
So does that mean I should only do high intensity interval training and I should only go sprint and I should only do crazy exercises because then I'll burn a lot of calories and burn a lot of fat?
No, that's not what that means. Although it is true, you will burn way more calories the harder you work. This is true. There's also a caveat. There's a cost to this. So I think I've told you before, I've competed in bodybuilding competitions 4 times. The first 3 times I did, let me tell you what I did for my cardio. I did insanity. Anybody ever hear of insanity? It's insane. Yeah. And then I did that with my weight training sessions, which at the time I was doing 5 days a week. And it was a lot. It was a lot of my body and it was a lot of my mind. And it was a lot of my joints. It was really hard on my body. And when something's really hard on your body, it creates systemic fatigue. And that is going to have an effect on your cortisol levels. Cortisol is a hormone that deals with stress. It's a stress hormone. And it's going to raise during times of stress. And systemic raising of the cortisol is going to cause problems. It's going to increase your inflammation. It's going to negatively affect your sleep. And it's going to decrease your body's ability to heal, which means it's going to decrease your body's ability to make muscle. So I was spending all of this time in the gym, working out, lifting weights hard, and I was not seeing the results. In fact, I was getting weaker. I was able to lift less over a period of time, and that's a problem. And I was getting 4 or 5 hours of sleep, not because I set my alarm to be awake after 4 to 5 hours. And that's not good, by the way. We need to sleep 7 to 8 hours ideally. That's another video. But I was waking up after 4 to 5 hours because my body was highly alert. I was waking up like I had 5 cups of coffee in my body and I was ready to go. Now, this seems like it's a good thing, but it's not, because when your body is not recovering and you're not sleeping properly because your cortisol levels are too high, you are going to have a whole host of problems. My anxiety went through the roof. I felt horrible during the day. My mental clarity was way off. I was sore all the time, and I wasn't getting stronger. I was getting weaker. Does that mean that HIIT training or high intensity interval training or anything really, crazy like that is like insanity is horrible for you? No, it doesn't mean it's horrible for you. But you have to look at the whole picture and you have to look at what your overall goals are. People that are doing these things usually aren't doing anything else. Usually they aren't strength training. And if they are strength training, they shouldn't be doing these other things 5 days a week because it's going to inhibit strength training. The number one goal of your fitness journey should be strength training and gaining muscle. So I do recommend the more aerobic training, the lower intensity training for lots of reasons. And the main reason being it's not going to increase your inflammation. In fact, it's going to decrease your inflammation. It's literally going to lower that cortisol and relax you and make you feel better, and you're going to burn fat. So again, I do recommend the secret of fat loss is prioritizing strength training and muscle building, because that is going to help you increase your metabolism. And we've talked about in a previous video, I'll include it here on my link, and the importance of getting your muscles, especially for women, especially if you're over 40 like I am. I'm 45, so it's more important now than ever. So we need to prioritize strength training. That needs to be our number one, and everything else needs to wrap around that. And as long as you make that number one, you're going to be golden. And then the low intensity steady state training or LISS training is in that lower range, and that is going to burn fat, and also it's going to contribute to an environment that is going to help you build muscle, which is the most important thing. Now, let's get a little bit more granular about this. There's a wide range of aerobic training. So
where should I go? How should I train? What zone should I be in?
I recommend zone 2 training. There's so much medical information on the importance of zone 2 training and what it can do for your body. Zone 2 training is in that 60 to 70% max heart rate, and sometimes I'll even push it up to 75%. But that's the zone you generally want to be in. This zone of training is magical. It is literally going to reduce your cortisol levels, which is going to reduce your inflammation. It's going to encourage healing. It's going to encourage muscle building. It's going to burn fat, and you are actually building more mitochondria and making them more efficient. Remember, we talked about this in a couple of videos. Mitochondria are those little powerhouses in your cells that are responsible for life, basically. And the more mitochondria and the more efficient they are, the better machine you are. So zone 2 training has been shown to make more mitochondria and make them more efficient at fat burning. So you literally become a more efficient fat burning machine by doing zone 2 training. What? This is mind blowing. So it's going to change your chemistry. It's literally going to renew your body and your mind because it's going to decrease your stress. Zone 2 training is where it's at. So how do you know what your heart rate is? Well, I recommend wearing a chest strap. It is going to be far more efficient and much more accurate compared to like a wrist heart rate monitor, which has been shown not to be that accurate, unfortunately. I know they're way more convenient, but I don't recommend it. So get like a chest one. I use my zone, Garmin makes one, but just make sure you're using a chest heart rate monitor to get the most accurate view of that. If you don't have that and you just want to hold on to the machine a little bit to get a gauge once in a while of your heart rate, that's fine, but do not hold on to the machine for a long period of time. One of my pet peeves is going to the gym and seeing somebody on an incline treadmill and they've got it to like 30 incline and they're just holding on for dear life and pulling. It's doing nothing for you. Nothing. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't be that person. Don't do it. You can hold on for a little bit and get your heart rate, but do not be holding on for dear life. If you have to hold on to the machine for dear life, you need to like lower the level a little bit. So now we know the secret of zone 2 training and why it's so amazing for you. How do you even find out what this 60 to 70 or 75% max heart rate is? How do you even know what your max heart rate is? The best way to check your max heart rate, well, honestly, the best and most efficient way is in a lab, but I mean, If you have access to a lab and they can put an oxygen mask on you and check your blood, I mean, that's the best way, but like I haven't even done that, even in my physiology classes. So the next best way to do it, and the more practical way, is to do an intense exercise. And I'm not saying to do it every day, maybe once every 6 months or once every 12 months, but do something that progressively gets you into a higher and higher heart rate until you get to the point where you honestly can't go anymore. And that is going to be your max heart rate. And look at that number and then gauge everything else off of that. Again, our cardiovascular fitness does change over time, so you might want to test this every 6 months or every 12 months. I typically test mine every 6 to 12 months. And that is going to be way more accurate compared to the calculations that they give you based on your age, which is very inaccurate. It can be off by like 25%. That's huge. So don't do that. And I do recommend, for safety, I do recommend doing these tests on a surface that is not going to result in injury. So I never do these tests on a treadmill because you get really tired at the end. You can fall off the treadmill. Same thing with the step mill. You can fall off the step mill. So do something where, we're not looking for you to fall off, okay? But it's just, you're going to be really tired. You're pushing your body to the max. So you want to be in a safe situation. Best machines for this, like a bike, like a stationary bike, even the assault bike is really great because that gets your heart rate going super fast, and you'll get that result really quickly. And you can even do it on a track outside, but I just don't encourage you to do this on a treadmill.
What are you talking about? Check my heart rate. I don't want to do that. I don't want to run as fast as I can until I throw up. I don't want to be on a bike going like this until I throw up. This is horrible. I don't want to do this. This is so awful. I don't want to do it.
No problem. You don't have to do that if you don't want to. I'm kind of OCD about my numbers, so for those out there that are like-minded, you can do your heart rate max test. But if you don't want to do that, you don't have to. My last coach for bodybuilding shows, he competes in bodybuilding as well, and he does not wear a heart rate monitor. He just uses the breath test. What is the breath test? Nope, it's not the breathalyzer test you take when you've had a little bit too much to drink. Nope, not that one. It is a test that shows you what zone you're in based on how you're breathing. People also call this the talk test. What does this mean? So when you're doing your workout, whatever mean that is, like let's say you're walking on a treadmill or you're on a bike and you're breathing through your nose, and then all of a sudden you start to have to like take breaths through your mouth because now you're having to breathe through your mouth because you need more oxygen. And you can still talk to your friend next to you and have a conversation, but you're having to work a little bit harder. And then you get to the point where you're a little warm and you're having to breathe a little bit more, and you can still talk to your friend next to you. But at this point, you're kind of taking a breath here and there. You're not gasping. You're not like, no, but you're like saying 4 or 5 words and then take a few breaths and then keep talking. That is the zone 2 training. If you keep going to a point where you literally can't talk, you're out of the zone 2. So sometimes I will take on calls during my workout, and they can tell, the other person on the phone can sort of tell that I'm working out, but sort of not, because I'm able to have a conversation, albeit I'm talking a little bit slower, and then they can hear me breathe once in a while, but I'm not like that. That is when you are in that anaerobic zone. So that is something that you can use to gauge. Even if you become more fit, the point at which you feel breathy is also going to become increased. Conversely, if you become less fit, the point at which you feel breathy is going to decrease. So it's always going to change with your level of fitness, which is great. So it's going to work extremely well. And people that use this way of measuring actually are very close, if not exactly precise, to that 60 to 70, sometimes 75% max heart rate. So it's a great way to do it. Other physical signs that you're going to have during zone 2 training is that you're going to feel warmer. Yes, you're going to be breathing a little bit more hard, but you're going to feel warmer, and oftentimes you will start sweating. And that's also a good indication that you're in the right zone. So where should you do this training? Does it have to be on an incline treadmill? No, it does not have to be on an incline treadmill. I personally enjoy it on an incline treadmill. I have a Peloton and I put on, walking through the mountains of Switzerland or some other nature scene. I don't really do the classes. And then I have my phone on the desk and I watch a YouTube video or I listen to something or I take a call. And it's a very productive, wonderful, relaxing time for me that I look forward to. And it's just a little escape and I love it. Now, what if I was stuck in a gym with no screen and I didn't have my phone on me, or I didn't even like to watch YouTube videos or anything else? Then I would hate it and I wouldn't want to do it. So the key is to do something that you love to do. Do whatever you love to do, and that's going to keep you motivated. So if you like to bike, if you like to swim, if you like to hike, if you like to walk on the treadmill like I do, great. Do whatever is going to keep you doing it, because that's what's going to keep you motivated. The American Heart Association recommends 150 to 200 minutes a week of Zone 2 training for cardiovascular benefits. Again, we talked about all the medical benefits of Zone 2 training, and it is basically one of the best things that you could possibly do for your body, if not the best, other than strength training, right? We know strength training is super important. So it's going to just be really good for your cardiovascular system. It's going to decrease dementia. We already talked about it. It's going to make you a fat burning machine. It's going to increase those mitochondria. It's going to decrease your cortisol. It's going to make you feel better. Oh, and by the way, you're going to burn a lot of fat during it. So I recommend doing 150 minutes to 200 minutes, which equates to about like 30 minutes 5 times a week. And you can increase that as you need to. You really just be careful. You don't really want to increase it like over an hour a day, just because you might have systemic fatigue as a result. And that again is going to affect your muscular gains, because what's the priority here? Strength training. You got to prioritize strength training. Whatever gets in the way of your strength training, you need to reassess, because that is what's going to burn the most fat. Even though it's not burning the most calories at the time, it's going to put on the muscle that will overall burn the most calories over time. Again, I like to do my Zone 2 training on the incline treadmill because it's easiest for me and it's enjoyable for me. And what do I mean by easy? It's easiest for me to control that heart rate very closely. So I can very quickly change my incline and very quickly change my speed, or a combination thereof, to get to the heart rate that I want to be at. And that is just easy for me. It's harder for me to gauge that on other modalities, but whatever you want, you can do. Again, whatever is going to keep you motivated, that's what you should do. And again, shoot for minimum like 30 minutes 5 times a week. I know that seems like a lot, but just go on a walk after lunch and walk a little bit more briskly. And if you can still talk to your friend, the whole time with no change, you gotta pump it up a little bit more. So Zone 2 training is the key to fat loss. Again, you cannot lose fat unless you're in a caloric deficit. So you've got to be in a caloric deficit. This is just a tool that's in your tool shed that you can utilize to help achieve your goal of fat loss. So you got to prioritize your protein and get your strength training in to build your muscle. This is a tool to use in that tool shed. The beauty of this is that it's going to change your life and literally renew your mind and body. What do I mean by that? It's going to renew the cells in your body down to the microscopic level. It's going to change the way they work by adding more mitochondria that work better. That's crazy. And it's going to renew your mind. It's going to make you feel more relaxed. It's going to make you more calm. You're going to be less anxious. You're going to be happier. You're going to be more pleasant. You're going to be able to sleep better. Everything in your life is going to be better because of Zone 2 training. And I highly recommend you do this. And then listen to the other videos I have on fat loss for just overall health. And I hope you were encouraged and blessed by this. And please comment on your favorite type of Zone 2 training. I'd love to hear about it. Any questions? Again, I do offer private coaching one-on-one. Just shoot me an email in the description. The email's in a link in the description. And again, I'm always blessed and encouraged by all of you who are watching and listening to this. And I hope you have a blessed day.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to our channel and like, comment, and share this video if it was a blessing to you. Here's another video for you to watch. Have a blessed day.